Those just coming in, login is up here on the board, upper right corner. CIS 290, boot camp's the password. All right, if you've not taken classes in this lab before, when you leave here, to the left, men's restroom, right, women's, along with water faucets. There is pop and water machines in the basement if you ever want to get any before class. You can bring that into the classroom as long as it's a screw top on it. And can't eat in here, but you can definitely drink with it as a screw top on it. You're good to go. Did everybody get logged in to your Mac and also to Eagle? Great. I got a couple ads afterwards, so remind me, just come up afterwards and we'll get that taken care of. My name is Professor Chuck Conk. I'll be with you the next 15, 16 weeks teaching digital photography introduction. Right off the top of bat, go ahead and get this over with. As far as cameras that's required, anything you already have, don't go out and buy something new. You can even use your phone, which will be fine. But the techniques you're going to learn this semester, you can apply to any camera you want in the future. Suggested place to buy a camera or to at least go play with them is Cameracraft on Perryville, right and where Meg's is over there, McDonald's and the Perryville and Riverside area. Really good bunch of people that work there, really helpful, and they won't pressure you, especially if you tell them you're taking a photography class on campus. They'll let you look at stuff and everything. So, but I definitely don't recommend you purchasing a camera this semester to take the course.
because again, the techniques you're going to learn, you can apply it to any type of camera you use in the future. A little bit about myself. I was born in New York, raised in Southern Missouri, so I have a kind of a fast Southern accent, and got interested in photography when I was real young with my mom, who gave me this first Brownie camera here. We're logging in with this information up here on the board, CIS-290 in boot camp. This is a camera that actually still functions, film right there. The film that's inside of it, the negatives are 3x4. And I saved up my money as a kid to build my own darkroom. And at the age of 10, I had my own darkroom. It was, taking film in there, negatives in there, and family and my friends. And so I've always been interested in cameras. We've come a long way from then, but the techniques are still the same as far as how to take a photo. The settings have definitely changed from those days to present because of digital. Back then also, you were real careful on the photos you took because you couldn't just, like we can today, take 100 photos and maybe delete 50 of them. So our film, we had, in that one, I had like eight per roll. So I had to be real careful on taking photos. Today, you don't have to worry about that. But I think there is something to be said about negatives and film. The film days, one of these days we'll get a dark room in here. We actually have a room downstairs in the basement where we used to do our own film production and basically take the negatives and in the dark room downstairs, but it's not like a closet or something. And so but one of these days we'll have that. If you ever get a chance though to take part in a workshop that teaches film and how film works and how to go through that process, it'd be well worth your time to do it. Tonight's an introduction. We're just going to go over the makeup of Eagle and the course, and then I'll let you go. We'll go over also portfolios, which we'll talk about later, which is your final project. Everybody will create your own portfolio with a whole bunch of photos, 3x5s, 8x10s, thumbnails, and converting your images to a slideshow. Going back to my background, told you where I was from, where I born and raised. As far as education background, I have a theology degree, a bachelor's, and a master's in computer science and communication. And that's kind of weird, right? And what happened was we were a pastor. My wife and I were pastors in Missouri for a number of years. And if you've ever been in church or a group of any type of people, computers break, and somebody in that group or a church is always there to help. I was that guy who helped all the time. And so I got interested in computers doing that. But one of my professors in my master's was named Dudley Moore, and he used to, it was a Photoshop class, and the entire semester he would sit in the back of the room and put together a fishing lure book is what he did. And he would, around April, every spring, he would go on a tour on different conferences to sell the book. And so he would always get somebody to help in the class, and he got me to help, and I volunteered to teach a few sessions and fell in love with teaching and switched my degree and the whole course of my life. And we moved here in 2000, and I was over the Rockford Christian School computer science area for about 7 years, and did both for a number of years, and then finally came here full time. And so that was 22 years ago. And so we still have family in Missouri and family in Colorado and New York. And so you'll have fun this semester. We only meet one night a week. And so you'll get to know those around you. The first few weeks, the labs you'll be doing as a group or a pair of you together, just to kind of get to know each other. We'll also talk about in a second, but discussion is important too. We have a discussion on Eagle where you'll be able to go in and talk to one another and share your views on things, helps with technology, or what camera do you have, or maybe who are you going to vote for in the next presidential election. Whatever it might be, just keep it civil. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But discussions help build community, especially when we'll meet one night a week. So on the top of this course is demographics of the course. The night we meet, we're meeting in this class, which the room numbers have changed in this whole building in the last year. So the room number is wrong, but you know where you're at. My office number now is 2222, which is actually pretty cool. I like that one. It's really easy to remember. The phone number is a Google phone number, and you can call or text it anytime if you have a question. Be more than glad to help you with that and reply. So whatever you're more used to doing. Prefer email, but if you want to text, you may do so. It goes directly to my phone. I'll reply to you. Course navigational helps. We'll go there real quick. No help there. Not loading on me. So we'll go back. Course success. Bring your camera to class starting next week, or your phone. That's either one will work. So if you have a Galaxy phone, an iPhone, regardless of what it is you have, it'll work. But again, do not go out and purchase a camera for the class. You don't need to do that. Join in discussions and labs. And also, too, not only bring your camera to class, but number 2, it says have a camera with you at all times. Each week when we talk about different settings of a camera, we always have you do a lab about that, a take-home. And so you could be driving down the street, driving down Alpine, Perryville, whatever, going to Galena, Chicago, wherever, on a vacation, on the weekend. And if you don't have your camera with you, you're not going to be able to take the shot. And so just make it a habit to bring it with you. If it's your phone, it's going to be an easy one. Turn your work in on time. If you're going to be late, just let me know via email or text. And the main thing is have fun. Anything in a learning environment, the way I teach is I like to teach having fun and exploring and making mistakes and failing and retrying again. So I'm all about that. Okay, I don't expect perfection. I don't expect not a lot of memorization in this class. We got one quiz. It's hands-on labs each week and take-home labs each week that's hands-on, to where we talk about stuff in here and then you go home and you actually do it. And then you turn it in. Questions on course success? And again, if you have questions, definitely let me know. Be more glad to help you. Eagle training, I'm not going to click on that. If you need help with Eagle, you can click on that tutorial. John over in Eagle also has some face-to-face ones in the library, I think. I've had students tell me it's pretty good. And you can pop in and out too. So I'll say if you're needing help with, I don't know, how to manage your way through a discussion board or something, I don't know. You can just pop into that discussion board discussion that he has over there. I think they have a number of teachers. And then just walk out when they're done talking about it. Syllabus, I'll have you read that on your own. Course documents, I'll click on that. This just goes over a number of different documents inside the course documents area. One of them being the course success we already talked about, but then there's going to be others in here also we'll use throughout the semester that basically just a bucket to put stuff that's going to help you with the course. And just so you know, I also leave the course open for you. So even after May, when we're done, through the summer, it's still going to be open if you want to download something or look at something again. The other thing I mentioned off the top is everything's being recorded each session. So what you see on the screen in here is being recorded, so you don't have to feverishly write it down. And it's going to be in each week's modules, a podcast module that you can click on and watch it. Or what I recommend is writing down, say it's 7:39 right now, and around 8 o'clock we talk about something. You can just write down like 20 minutes in or 30 minutes in, and then just forward fast that podcast later to that section for a minute or two, and you're done with it. Don't expect you to use all of it, but maybe some of it if you need to. It's beneficial. It also helps if you have to miss class. So you get a flat tire, you're sick, you have to work, and they call you in or whatever. The podcast is there for you as well. All right? So hopefully that'll help you. Course discussion, this is the general one I talked about. Post and reply to each other's questions. This is your playground, not mine. So whatever's on your mind, now you say that can be scary maybe for some of you, myself including, depending on the day. Only one rule, the Ellen rule I'll call it, is be kind to one another. All right, that's a good one, right? And so just treat one another with respect, which that's how my mama raised me to be. And so just treat each other like that and you'll be fine. You can still share your views and opinions, but I've seen a lot of cool discussion in these over the years from students. One I can remember was a student's mom passed away, and the whole class pitched in and gave flowers to the student. It had only been like 4 weeks in, which I thought was kind of cool that they did that. And I had no part in that whatsoever. So that's kind of stuff that can happen, which is kind of neat. But again, you can ask questions about anything or what you're feeling or totally non-course related items is what I want to be in here. And again, it's your area. The reason I put this in here, by the way, years ago when I first started on campus, students had a place to discuss things. Now you guys have Facebook, which I know you use, and Twitter, you use that. LinkedIn, you use that. Instagram, you use that, right? All those areas you use. But there's really no campus discussion thing anymore. They kind of got rid of that when Eagle came on board. And I kind of miss that. And it's an area for that. I think students, if you never experienced it, you're not going to miss it. But it does build community, having a place for you to go. So this is your little area for the class or for the campus while you're here this semester anyway, to just post your thoughts, ideas, questions you might have. It can be philosophical, it can be technical, whatever they might be. And then you can help each other as well. So questions on that, on the course discussion. And I'll try my best to stay out of that as much as possible. I'll look at it once in a while, just see the activity. But I've over the years never had to police that. Students or adults, and you guys are mature to where I've never had to mess with that. So connecting Dexter to the robot. Dexter is not Dexter, but Dexter. Anybody watched Dexter in the past, by the way? Any Dexter fans in here? All right, that's all right. This is an old post, but I'll tell you about it anyway. Dexter is a Segway. Basically, it's like an iPad on a Segway. Let's see if I can pull up the website up for us. And the reason I got a grant to get Dexter about 3 years ago. And the reason to get Dexter was twofold. One was to help handicapped students who couldn't attend class that are homebound, or students that were injured from sports injury or a car accident or sick or whatever. And they could log into this robot, go into class, and not miss anything face to face. And so this is Dexter with Arby. And basically, you can come in here. If you know somebody on campus, by the way, you don't have to use. You say nobody in here wants to use it or needs to use it. You know somebody that's had a wreck here on campus, or that God forbid gets sick for a few weeks. You can tell them about it, and they can sign up by just hitting the reserve Dexter, clicking a form, filling this form out of what needs are when you need it. It's been used on campus for handicapped folks, like I mentioned, whether they're born with a handicap or temporary handicap, inviting guest speakers on campus tours. And what's cool about it is if you know how to use an iPad like FaceTime, you can use Dexter because you're using an iPad app or a Chrome app on a computer to control Dexter with the arrow keys on your keyboard. Or if you have an iPad or iPhone or Droid, you can just use the arrows on that as well to control. And literally, as you push the arrows, it moves around the classroom, which is kind of cool. And so, anyway, share that with folks. Again, attending class, handicap injured, business event, campus event. So if you're part of a club and you want to invite a guest speaker, a lot of times that's pretty expensive. We've used this about 12 times in the last 2 years for guest speakers to come on campus. Because we can bring them around the classroom. They could be in New York and literally go up and down the aisles and talk to students about whatever it is that they're talking about. And then you can see the person's face, ask a question. So it's pretty intimate, but at the same time, it's using technology. So it's kind of cool. So if you're interested in that, or if you're going to just remember that, if you know anybody that could use it.
Does it cost?
Well, you talk through it. So basically, just where it says Dexter here. In fact, I'll try to pull up that. Let me pull up one of the blog pictures here. Okay, so here's a good one. These two kids were our last president's grandkids. Mike Mastriani, and they were driving Dexter. He was driving Dexter, and she was watching. And yeah, so basically, they see your face as you're coming down the road or down the path. And what's cool about it too is a telescopic arm, so It can be at sitting level, like 4 feet, or all the way to 5.5 feet high for standing and moving. So good question. The other one we did get a grant for is this one right here. This is for stationary. We've used this in a classroom. It just sits on a desk. It has a swivel. And this one's used, again, for the same purpose, but the students might not need to move in the classroom. We put it on the front row. If I were to have a volunteer student set it up and then take it away when the class is done, but you can see the board, you can ask questions, you can be part of group discussion, all with this one. So either one, both of these we've used. Questions on Dexter? All right, cool. Go back. And then final portfolio help. This is actually towards the end of the semester. This is just some detail we'll go over later. We won't read it tonight. But you will be creating a final portfolio in here in lieu of a final. And it's going to be worth 150 points, 75 for the portfolio, hard copy portfolio, and then 75 for the presentation. So 75 points for this one, like Allison did. And then you guys can look at these two after class and look through it real quick. But what's cool about it is you get to kind of wrap everything up we've learned this semester in the portfolio. And I have had students use that to get internships and, you know, whether it be in photography or whether it be in graphics. I've even had students use it when they used it for a job that was non-graphics and photography, but the employer was impressed that they did something like that. It was like a job for managing an office or something, and they were impressed with their work and hired them because of it. So good experience. You'll learn collecting photos, post-editing photos, and doing creating a DVD of your photos with music in the background. All right, that's the top stuff. Week one. Well, let me talk about this. On the left side of the course, announcements is a weekly announcements, which right now we've got week one, no textbook, post, Photoshop post or PhotoSite post, and final portfolio presentation. This is actually I left in there from prior semesters just so you can see what the final portfolio presentations look like. Grades is where you get your grades. The way the grading works in here, every week, like this is Tuesday, everything's due coming up Sunday at 11:59, and then everything will be posted the following Wednesday after your grades are due or after your assignments are due. And then syllabus, I like this view because it gives you a snapshot view of when everything's due for the course. Now, week one has more than any other week pretty much, but it's a lot of little stuff, as you probably have seen when you've went through it. Most week, though, has an in-class exercise, a take-home every week. Those two things are going to be static each week. I've got one quiz in February on terminology for photography. And then as you keep going down, we added some discussions in. I add the discussions in when you start working on your portfolio, because there's a few weeks you'll actually work on your portfolio and you can come to class or not come to class. So it's not mandatory during those weeks because you're gathering your photos, taking your photos, all that fun stuff. I'm here each week, by the way, but I want to kind of know what you finished each week. And you'll notice discussions as we go towards the end. Checklist on this week 15 is to go over a checklist of everything to make sure you got everything checked off. And then finally, May 1st is our final portfolio presentation, where everybody will have a DVD you've created. I'll show it to everybody up on the classroom. You'll talk about the presentation you created, because you'll get to choose up to two photography professions. So say you want to choose one of the choices is sports photography and maybe fashion, or you might do artistic photography and you might do landscape photography, or you might just decide I'm just going to do portrait photography. So up to two you can choose. Two is more challenging, but I over the years I've noticed students have started choosing two just because they like the challenge. And so it's up to you. You don't have to do two, but it's a lot of fun, and it's something that many of you are going to enjoy, just a part of learning how to create a DVD with photos, putting music to the back end of it, because once your family and friends find out that you can do that, you will be the de facto person to do that for every event. Okay, you'll collect all the photos, not only take them, but now you're going to create the DVDs for everybody and send it out to everybody. So questions on the syllabus, all right? And then modules is just giving you a module view of each week's breakdown, starting from top to bottom. This week is tasks, which we'll go over in a second, about me, which we'll go over, photo site, picking your photo site, your model and make of camera, and photo inspiration. Next week, we start talking about the history of cameras and your first take home that you'll do as a group, just to kind of get to know one another. I'm going to go back to the home, and then discussions is just a link to all the discussions in the course. So I'm going to go ahead and you'll notice each week has a picture. Since this is photography, we need pictures. So the makeup of my Eagle homepage is a whole bunch of pictures that have to do with what we're talking about that week, hopefully. So I'll click on week 1, getting started. Subscribe to the course podcast on iTunes U. If you click on that link, it'll walk you through how to do that. I'll click, if you go to number 2 link here, the going to iTunes U at rockvalleycollege.edu. Many of you probably didn't know we had that page on our site, but it's iTunes U is an Apple service to K through 12 and post-secondary education to post podcasts, both video, audio, and PDFs at no cost. It's available in 150 countries, and it's unlimited space. We have about 480 podcasts each semester on the campus. It's actually accessible from around the world. We have about 50,000 subscribers right now in our podcast. And so it's a montage of different professors that use it: biology, health science, math, some folks in IT, nursing use it. Benefits of iTunes U: it's free, easy to use. And one of the big benefits for you as a student is you can proctor or you can test a class out before you take a class. Like an example, you could, if some class here on campus doesn't have a podcast, you can find one at another institution. Like say you could find one at, molecular biology. Let's say that's one you want to take. I don't know if we offer it, but let's say that's one you're thinking about. You can find a podcast on iTunes U, watch some of the lectures, and go, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, because the way professors use it is we post all of our lectures, assignments. A lot of times are posted on there, and it doesn't cost anything to subscribe to it. One of the stories I always share is I had a niece in high school that was taking. Anybody take Spanish in high school? Anybody remember Spanish you took in high school? Well, that's good. I don't. But anyways, Shelby was needing some help with her Spanish grade. So anyway, we searched iTunes U. We found a podcast called Coffee Break Spanish, right? And it was a lady in a coffee shop teaching people the Spanish dialect. And she would, one of the hardest things, if you remember in Spanish, was not just the definition of words or the alphabet, but was the actual pronunciation of the words, right? So what she would do is go over the pronunciation part that Shelby was having a problem with. She loved it. It was like 50 podcasts that went over minutely every pronunciation they needed to learn and more. It even covered more than what they covered in high school. And she got an A. She brought her grade from a C to an A in 4 weeks watching those podcasts. So a podcast actually could be like a tutor that's totally free, and you don't have to leave your house, and you can watch it on your phone and subscribe to it. And so it's a benefit not just for our class. You probably won't use it much for our class. More so, you'll probably use podcasts for other classes you're taking or other classes you're thinking of taking. The other thing you'll find on iTunes U or just iTunes in general is every band that you follow or artist that you like more than likely has a podcast, right? And then you can subscribe to that. You can subscribe to multiple photography podcasts of how-to photography type of podcasts, which are awesome. And I'll share some throughout the semester that I listen to all the time. And most of them are anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes in length, not really long. And it's usually daily or weekly and pretty easy to follow. But again, I recommend it. For our class, I'm not going to follow up on and make sure you're using it, but I do recommend looking into it and playing with it and seeing what you can find out there. My challenge the first week, since you don't have a lot to do this first week, is to find a couple podcasts that's non-RVC related that you're interested in. Maybe be a hobby, might be a band to follow, might be a tech channel or a cooking channel or whatever, and subscribe to it. And once you subscribe to it, that's all you got to do. It downloads automatically to your devices, and you can listen to it. Questions on podcasts or iTunes U? All right.
Do they, can you download it on a regular computer, not a
Mac or PC, either one. Yeah, and even Linux.
a PC?
Yep, it'll work on all three platforms. Good question. The About Me, I told you about the syllabus already. I don't know. Here's the podcast we're recording right now. About Me is pretty simple. Again, we meet once a week, so this will help kind of build community. Name you go by, favorite food, favorite movie, hobbies while you're taking a class. Read folks that post their initial post and then reply to at least 2 others. You can do more replies, but at least 2 to kind of build, again, community. And replies, by the way, let me go back to that, are only visible if you've posted at least 1 initial reply. So you're not going to see anything like here. I don't see anything until I post something. When I post something, then I see stuff, all right? Questions on that About Me? Pretty simple. Photo sites, 2 options. Really, I had in there, what was it? Foki.com, which is a good one. I still have it, but it's paid now. Totally. I think the cheapest one's like $2 a month or something. I don't know. So anyway, I updated that right before class started because I don't want you to have to pay for the service. So Google.com photos and Flickr, those 2 are good. Either one will work. Okay. Once you sign up for either one, just submit the URL of your site. It gives you a unique URL for you. And if you have any questions, let me know. It's pretty straightforward though. Some of you might have already used at least maybe Google Photos maybe, but maybe not Flickr. Flickr I actually like better than Google Photos just because of the navigation and management of it. But anyway, either one will work. If you already have Google Photos, you can definitely use that and just create a different album for our class, like maybe Web225 or something. Make a model of your camera, again, or your camera phone. You'll just submit for 10 points what the camera is. Say it's a Fujifilm, a Nikon Coolpix, a Galaxy X, an iPhone 7S, whatever, iPhone X, whatever it is you have, you can put it in there. Questions on that, on the make and model? And again, do not go out and buy a new camera. Don't do that. Photo inspiration. So to get started this semester, we're going to do something fun right out of the chute. I told you about learning. I like to teach learning in a fun environment, and I also myself like to have fun while I'm learning. And so to get us started, we're going to do is an inspirational assignment to begin learning how to take good photographs. And one of the best ways I learned in school and as a young person with my mom was just actually looking at photos, right? And figuring out why people took a photo like they did. Because like when we're a kid and somebody gives you a piece of paper and crayons, what's the first instinct to do with that piece of paper? What's the first instinct? To just, you know, be nice and neat or fill up the entire page with something? Which one? What do you think human nature is? Fill up the entire thing, right? Just fill it up. But one of the things I learned in school and photography over the years is white space. White space is that empty space, right? That's important in design. That sometimes, well, initially we don't like it. We think it's weird or something that's wrong. Something's not totally filled up. The other thing is centering everything. We like to center everything when we first start taking photos, right? Everything has to be in the center. Fill it up. We learned this semester the thing about rule of thirds, where no things need to be off-centered. to the left or right, bottom right quadrant, bottom left quadrant. We'll find out why that is. Basically what it is, a good photo makes you want more of that photo, all right? And photos, all photos are going to emit some emotion, whether it be a I don't care emotion or a passionate emotion of fear or anger or passion or love, or memory of a family member, a memory of your own life. Photos can bring a lot of emotion, right? So if you've had family that have passed on and you look at their photos, that can really bring back memories. Good memories, it can bring back bad memories. But photos are something that help us not only with life just by looking at them, but hopefully this semester you'll learn what I call the eye of a photographer, where you look at things differently, right? And so this first assignment is going to hopefully help you look at things differently when it comes to photos. And so one of the first things you're going to do, I'll read this first and we'll kind of go through it real quick. You'll go to that site, we'll go to it in a second. You'll browse at least 5 photographer portfolios. There's tons of them out there. And just a disclaimer, there's some photographers that are kind of racy in their photos, okay? Some of the clothing might be optional, maybe, possibly, some of them. So just be aware of that. If you don't like that, or that turns you off and you're totally upset about that, or just don't choose that photographer. You can tell real quick who those people are. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that some people take photography in that vein. So what you'll do is you'll choose 5 photography portfolios. You'll reply below to a photo that caught your eye out of those 5, just one photo. So you'll choose 5 quickly. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Then choose just one photo. And you don't really need to know why you chose that photo, but you chose it, okay, whatever it might be. Once you choose it, you're going to take that photo and you're going to screenshot it on your computer. If you're on a Windows computer, you can use a snippet tool. Because I don't know if you've done this. If you try to like right-click on a photo, sometimes on a website, it won't let you do it and to download it. You can't stop the snippet tool because you're doing a screenshot. All right. Mac users, Shift Command 4 will save that area to the desktop. And I give the instructions on Windows 8 and 10 how to use the snippet tool. And you'll upload it to the below discussion. You can also use, once you've snippeted, whatever it might be, or you used a Mac screenshot tool, the Shift Command 4. You can use Tinypic and watch this podcast on how to use Tinypic. You don't have to sign up for anything on Tinypic. You just upload a photo. It gives you a URL to that image, and then you can share it. All right? And anyone can do it. It doesn't cost anything.
So what's that Tinypic do? Make the picture small enough to go on there?
No, I'll show you real quick. Tinypic basically just takes any picture and gives you a link to share that picture with people. So let me just show you what Tinypic looks like. There's a podcast so this is what it looks like. And so you can go in, like say, I'll just do this real quick. I'm going to just for fun here, I'll just do a screenshot of Dexter there. And I'll go to Tinypic. And you'll notice there's tons of ads. It's annoying. They are annoying ads, but hey, it's totally free. And so if you have to restart it sometimes, that's fine. Just don't pay attention to the ads. So basically you'll hit the choose file button. You will grab the photo, upload it, which I'll do real quick here to show you how quick it is. And I don't have to name it or do anything. I can just hit upload now. It generally has this thing that pops up just to make sure you're not a robot doing this. So this one here is a security code sponsored by your answer. Please enter chocolate babka. So I have to enter that in. It helps to spell it right. And once it's finished uploading, it gives me a whole bunch of ways to share it. HTML for a website, IMG for forums and boards, a URL for email and IM, or direct link. You want to do the direct link for layouts. That one there has the .png, which gives a direct link to the picture. And I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go to my topic here. And I'm just going to put in here the link here. I'm going to click on embed image. Put the URL that I just got in that little place there. Hit update, and there it is. And notice here I tell you to upload your image. Then reply to at least 2 others. Now you'll notice I don't have you reply to your own. I don't have you, and that's for a reason. I want you just to upload your photo and let it sit there. And so I'll go ahead and save this one. Looks like a couple of you already did one here. And so if you do post something, you can. You don't have to, but I don't require you to post anything. So just upload it, share it, and then you're going to look at everybody's once everybody's done and reply at least 3 other photos. What you'll find is this. The comments that people will give on your photo will probably be totally different maybe sometimes than what you felt about that photo. And that's important, right? Because the way I feel about a photo is totally different than what you're going to feel about a photo sometimes. But that doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong. It's just our perspective, right? And that's what this whole lesson teaches you, is perspective. And so anybody seen a billboard recently as you drove by, or a commercial? I'll share with one I saw over break. A commercial, a picture on a commercial that really just, you can't watch. It just is so emotional. You can't watch it. You just can't do it. Anybody have a story like that, or share? Want to share? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like those commercials, like Starving Kids.
Oh yeah, the Starving Kid commercials. Yes, those are hard to watch. Yeah, it's tough to see that. Isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that I see a lot of that with music. So,
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily a music class, but like there are just too many songs that just bring up too many bad memories. Like,
So when you hear a song, it brings up bad memories?
well, like certain songs, like what was like I Captured a Grenade for You. What? Yeah, Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
It's like one of those. It's
Right.
just that like I've been used so much in the
I got
past.
you.
And then,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Anybody else? Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
One to donate for abused animals.
Oh, that's the one that gets me. The dog commercial. Oh my gosh, I love dogs, man. I cannot stand it. Anybody else like that with us on that, on the dog commercial?
Yeah.
It's just so gut wrenching on seeing those dogs, and they're crying, tears are coming out of their eyes, and they're shaking. And I'm like, I mean, you feel anger, right, towards a person or people that do that to animals. Number one. Number two, you're like, why do they keep showing this every 5 seconds? You know. But then again, it's to raise money, which I totally get why they're doing it. But yeah, it definitely gets emotion, right? That's the point of it. And advertisement, which I was in advertisement for years and still help here on campus, we use images, right, to incite what in advertisement. When you go to any checkout aisle in any store, what's in that aisle? About 20 of them to your left and right as you're walking through. What's in the aisle? Yeah, magazines, right, with tons of pictures. Big picture, right? Some are happy pictures of the prince and his wife having a new baby, or his brother getting engaged.
Yeah.
So happy stuff to very negative stuff, very maybe untrue stuff, but they're all to capture your attention, to purchase that magazine, to find out more, right? To find out more dirt. As it says in media, dirt sells. I like to say that good stuff sells, but it really doesn't. People like to listen to dirt and watch dirt. I don't know. It's just human nature, I guess. But anyway, photos do the same, right? Any photos, beautiful photos, because what might be beautiful to you might not be beautiful to me, and vice versa, right? Seriously, it depends on your background, how you were raised, things you went through, things you're going through now. Your perspective in life is going to really taint the lens of your eyes and your mind on how you see things. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this side. You can just watch on the overhead if you want to. You'll do this this week. So anyway, 40 photographers portfolios for inspiration. And the person talks about a photographer. Your portfolio website is your business card. And photographers, I have a lot of friends of mine in professional photography that their website is their life. I mean, they live by their website, good or bad. So it goes over some things about photography to keep in mind. But then it goes right into different photographers. Now, here's where I talked about earlier. Some of them might be racy. Some of them might be not your cup of tea. But as you scroll through these, just find 5 of them and then go through those 5. So I'll go ahead and pick one here as I'm going through here. Let's see here. I'll do Dave Hill. There's a lot of nature, person, people, shots type stuff. Let's see. Gonna look through these real quick. I did not do this before class. I'm just randomly looking through these, see which one catches my eye. All right, I'm gonna click that one. And this is a family, looks like, on the beach. They're in the car. There's one there on the front end. See if I can find it. Of all of them outside near a tree or something. That one right there. That one catches my eye. That one right there catches my eye. And at first I didn't know why. Now I do know why it catches my eye. I have 5 kids in my family. I have quite a, for today's stats, a large family, right? Reminds me, the reason I like it, reminds me of my family when I was a kid. Mom and dad and 5 brothers, older brother, older sister, and 2 younger sisters. It reminds me of my family. Everybody's happy. We did a lot of camping as a kid. We traveled a lot camping. Any campers in here, by the way? Anybody like to camp, or your mom and dad like to camp? Maybe you don't like to camp, but mom and dad like to camp. So we did a lot of that, and so it kind of, it emotionally hits me by seeing that picture, right? And it just kind of, this is what I choose. So that's what you're going to do, right? You're going to choose one photo. You'll snippet it, Tinypic it, upload it, and that's it. Try your best not to comment on it. If you already did, don't worry about it. And then let others comment on that photo, what they like about it. And here's what I want you to do. When you comment on other people's photos, I want you to comment on things that you like about the photo, okay? Now, there will be critiques we do this semester where I'll have you comment on things that it's not your cup of tea, is what we'll call it. Not dislike, it's just not your cup of tea, all right? We'll do that this semester. But for this assignment, I want you just to comment on things you really like and why you like it about that photo. And you'll be surprised when you post your photo, all the different types of reasons why people like it. They'll see things like in this post photo, somebody might be like, they don't even see the family. They see the car because they've always wanted a car like that or something, right? They've always loved that color of car or something. I don't know. Or trees or whatever it might be. And so people will see things differently in a photo than you. Make sense? Do what now?
You might see Bigfoot.
Yeah, you might see Bigfoot in the background of the trees. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Good point. So anyway, questions on the photo inspiration?
So we take the picture, we put it, you want us to not put a comment?
Yeah, do try your best not to put a comment on it. I'll just upload it.
Everybody else
let everybody else comment. You're going to comment yourself on 3 others, at least 3 others. You can do a comment on everybody's if you want to. But you're not going to get the full grade unless you've done at least 3. Post a photo yourself and post at least 3 other students' photos that they've uploaded. Make sense? And then you get full credit for it.
Comments on theirs.
You'll comment on their posts, on their photo posts. Good question. Questions on that? All right. Let me look forward real quick into week 2. Week 2, we'll be doing introduction to digital photography. We'll be going over a slideshow on the beginning of photography, some terminologies, rule of thirds being one that we'll talk about. Your take home next week, you'll be practicing. As you leave that night, you're going to pair up with at least 3 or 4 other people, minimum 2, but I like 3 or 4 of this size of class. We can do that easy. And you will take each other's photos with your phones or camera, whichever one you bring. And what you're going to do is let that person choose one photo they really like of the 10 that you took. And then you're going to upload that photo. And what I tell students to do is you can text yourself that photo and put their name in the text, right? That way you remember it. And then when you upload it later, you'll have those 4 photos or 3 photos, whatever, however many you had in your group. You get to learn each other's names. I'm going to put it in a big composite collage at the end for you to kind of see all of your collective work of your classmates. And so that's a fun one to do. And you also get to kind of get to know those that are around you. And that's it for week 2. So it's starting out slow. Big question people always have the first night is textbook, no textbook. We do a lot of online reading. I have you do text I've written myself, tutorials I've written myself over the years, things that I've learned I'll share with you. Everything I know I will partake to you, I will give to you. And you'll have that by the end of the semester, that information. And so by the end of the semester, you're going to know all the different settings of a camera that's popular to use in photography. The first thing you're going to go over, though, is the eye of a photographer, looking at photos differently, taking photos differently. The other thing you'll get a habit, hopefully, doing is having your camera with you all the time and looking at ways, looking at photos to take, basically. You'll also learn post-editing, a lot of post-editing you'll do. And we'll be using a tool called Pixlr, which is an online kind of Photoshop that you can use to do. It's got layers in it like Photoshop, where you can do everything basically Photoshop does in an online environment, online browser environment. And you don't have to download an app to do it. So we'll do a lot of post-editing. One of the fun ones I like this semester, every one of them is fun, but my most favorite is where you take an old family photo and you're going to restore it, that family photo, okay? I'm going to teach you how to do that, whether it be taking an old photo that has a whole bunch of cracks and creases in it and restoring it, giving it to your grandma and grandpa, or giving it to your aunt and uncle, or your mom and dad's wedding photo that's got, bent up or something over the years. Stuff like that you'll do. That's one of my favorite ones. The reason I like that the most probably is in my master's degree, I found an old photo of my grandma and grandpa when they got married, like a lot of young couples during the Depression. Like today, we just take photos every day, right? Like 100 times a day. Back then, it was a big thing to get a photo taken. It was a big production. And so there wasn't a photo of grandma and grandpa, a lot of photos of them together in a photo before they got married, when they were going out together and they were dating one another, courting was what they called back then. So I found a photo of grandma and grandpa about a year before they got married, put it together in Photoshop, spliced it in with the same background, and I gave it to him for the 55th anniversary. It was a grade I had for my class, but also I was able to give it to them. It took me about 12 weeks to finish that project because both photos weren't in prime condition. And I had to scan them into a scanner, which you might have to do for yours this semester, then come into Photoshop and do my editing, splice it in. And so those of you who've done Photoshop before, it can take some time, right? It takes time to just kind of perfect that. And so, but I still remember that. I still have it. I walk by that photo every morning. I got 4 or 5 copies of it. And we kept a copy, my wife and I, and we have it in a frame in our home. And every morning when I get dressed, I walk, even though grandma and grandpa's been gone like 15, 20 years now, I walk by that photo every morning. And I don't know, it's weird, maybe it's wacko, I don't know, but you kind of, I feel them being there with me that day before I go out for that day, whatever it might be, I'll be doing. So, but again, I had a part in that kind of process of doing that for them. But it also, I guess you would say, helps me a lot too. And so hopefully that'll help you as well. So every week you're going to be doing stuff. Those are the 2 most popular ones I like that we'll be doing this semester because it's more personal and you get maybe more out of it on a personal level. But by the end of the semester, you'll be able to, like I said, have an eye of a photographer, be able to take photos better, know about all the settings on your camera, be able to use them in a better fashion, more timely fashion. Because when you have to take a photo, you have split seconds to take it. And if you don't know how to, and we've all done this, I don't know what setting to put on this. And then you take a photo and you're like, that stunk. That was terrible. Or you might have taken a photo and you're like, that stunk, but you got home, it actually looked pretty good. All right. And so we've all done that. Or you've been outside and it's been dark and try to take a photo of the family and friends, and everybody looks like they just came out of a vampire movie or something. They're all whitewashed, you know. But anyway, you'll learn ways of that not happening and ways of helping you. One of the tools we'll learn a lot is histogram tool that's on your cameras, even on your phones, and even on Pixlr and Photoshop. And histogram will teach us a lot on the light and darkness of a photo. Because in order to have a great photo, you have to have true white somewhere in that photo. And we'll teach you that as well. Once you know the true white of the photo, you can take a great photo, both color and texture and brightness. Because you can do a lot with post editing, but if you don't have good contrast and whiteness, there's not much you can do with it. And so you'll learn all that this semester and have fun. So what we're going to do here as we end is I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to have you just tell us your first name and tell us, let's see, if you had a New Year's resolution. And just say yes or no. We don't want to know your new. I don't want you to have to share your New Year's resolution. Just say yes or no. Okay, I'll start out. Chuck, no New Year's resolution for me. None. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I'm Danielle Freeman, and yes, I do have a New Year's resolution.
All right. Go ahead.
My name is Michael. Don't have a New Year's resolution.
All right. Yes.
Janelle, and no.
Okay. Okay, good.
Carolyn, and I don't.
All right.
Hillary, and I don't.
All right.
Brianna, and I don't.
Alex and I do not.
I'm married, and no, I don't have one either. I'm Dylan, and I don't.
I'm Laura, and I don't.
I'm Ethan and I do not.
I'm Madison, and I also do not.
Garrett, no resolutions, just goals.
Yeah.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Alex and
See, that was pretty easy, right? Most of us have New Year's resolution, right? We know that. And so this semester, again, next 15 weeks, we'll have fun together. We'll learn a lot together. As you leave, if you want to come up and look at the 3 portfolios I put on the table, you're more than welcome to do that. The 2 that I need to fill out an ad slip, come up here and I'll get that done for you. Otherwise, we're done for the first session. Let's have a great semester. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or text me, and I'll see everybody next week. And bring your cameras with you next week, all right? Or your smartphones, if that's whatever you're using. Right? So 2 ad slips, right? I'll be right back.
Yeah. Will you have any office hours tomorrow?
Joan will be putting office hours up next week.
Okay. There's some things I want to talk to you. I actually do want to get a camera for this class. I know you said we don't, but it's
Yeah, you don't need to. If you're going to get one, shoot me an email, and I will give you some examples. What I suggest.
Yeah, and also I was talking with the counselor the other day, and she was saying there's some issues with, I don't know, with the classes or something like that.
Okay.
You know, the degree that I was trying to get. It was a while since we spoke about like all the classes, like placing them or switching.
Yeah,
things out.
Stephanie would be the one to help you with the class.
Yeah. Okay.
So she'd be the one to help you with that. Okay.
Yeah, but is it possible to get like a good camera, like for about $350 or something?
Oh,
like
for
that?
sure, yeah, definitely. But again, I don't recommend it. But if you want to get one, shoot me an email. I can give you some suggestions.
Yeah.
Does for the photo we choose, does it have to be a portfolio in that list, or could
Yeah,
we choose a different type?
Do what else? Which one else?
So for that the assignment,
For this week?
yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so we can choose a different photo.
You're definitely do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that'll work. Yep. All right. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah.
So where did?
So I decided that I want to. I want to. I don't know. For a grant wise, I want to.
Yeah, I have to drop them to for a while.
RAM, I would suggest at least 12
I
gig.
just dropped them.
12
So I
gig.
gotta take care of
So you could all do that. Yeah.
They see it now. We could probably do projects together.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, just the last time, like, oh, I really like this one. And I really want to get into it, but like the computer I have now, the memory I have like 120 gigabytes, and it's 8 gigabytes. And I do have like my other applications, and it's kind of slow. So, like, the issue is, yeah.
I'm good. Does anybody else have any questions before I go? I'm gonna get some assholes real quick. Oh, Pixlr? You can. Now, there's some assignments that we do. I require Pixlr, but that doesn't mean you can't, you just keep using Photoshop. I just try to teach you how to use Pixlr. What's great about it, you can have fun.
I mean, I know you go to the Apple, but I know, I'm not trying to shut down.
But
I'm
when
just
you
trying.
feel.
I guess I am on Pro. So just
Yeah,
say,
To log out, or what did you want to do?
50% of the tools Photoshop does.
If you log out,
is it gonna give me just a little screen? Or is it
But
gonna
no, you
turn it off?
it'll log you out, but it will turn the computer off.
Oh, that's a question. I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
I wasn't even.
You've got like a,
Thank
that's
you.
fine, you got a problem. Yeah, no problem with that.
Hope it didn't. Oh. That's a diamond camera. I got one. It's a digital one. I know, and I like my little, my friend does just as good as my camera. Yeah. And whenever I see something cool, I take a picture anyways.
Yeah. I don't know, I never had those eggs.
I think it's gonna be cool that we could make a DVD with music. You know how they always do those for funerals and stuff? Right. I know that sounds morbid, but I mean, it's just cool to put pictures, because I want to download a bunch of family photos on DVD and share them with my sisters and they're my mother and everybody that's, you know, gone and stuff, and just history, and just have everybody have one. But I want the music.
Sure.
Oh, it'd be kind of cool.
Or if you go on any sort of road trips or vacations and you want to create a slideshow of some sort. then-
Yeah, but then I think the slideshow has to be on PowerPoint now, so I have to refresh. PowerPoint. But it's kind of cool because I just learned how to do that one semester, and I just need to try it again.
Let's see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I do have a camera. I don't, I might just have to stick with my phone. My phone gets really good, takes really good pictures. And last class I had showed us to put those squares, your grids on the camera. I did that already. See, I have my grid. They don't show up in my pictures, but I have the grid. But I will learn. I can't believe we're out so early. We'll go home and take some pictures. Where do you go get some aspirins? Is that what he said?
No, he's gonna go grab some.
Oh, the things to sign you guys up, applications.
Yes.
Oh. I thought
The
it said-
ads. That's what
That's what they were. I thought it said aspirins. What? What made you decide to take the class?
So a while back, I was really into photography and I kind of drifted away from it. And let's say eventually at some point in my life, I would like to get back into it. So I figured this might be that.
Maybe this will perk you back up for you.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I think this will help me. I've got websites and I just think it might help me with my websites. So that's why I want to do it. So when I retire, I'll have to. I'm going for web design anyways, degree. And when I retire, I think it'll be something just for me. Now I got a little over a year.
Until you retire. Wow.
I know, I'm gonna be 65. Well, 64 this February and 65 and I can retire. It's not the full age, but my husband, he retired early. And I'm still working. Something definitely wrong with the picture that I'm still working and he's not. But yeah, I just thought when I retire, it'd be something good for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one thing that you can't really get enough of. It's retirement. I mean, it's something that's always going to be around.
I know, and then I just got all these websites. I need to build something, and I
Well,
just gotta decide what I want to do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check out all these things that says connect to and download and stuff on my computer. At home. I always hate trying new stuff. I have to venture myself out. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, but on the plus side, that's part of growing and learning.
That's it. That's why I'm back in school. My husband says I'm nuts. You know, here you are. I said, yep, here I am. He said, why are you going back to school? You're not gonna get a job. I said, I'm not going for a job. I said, I'm going for myself.
Come up here real quick. I can look at the academic calendar for you.
He
Tell you
says-
for sure. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Because
You
we
can
have
think
taught
for
all day,
yourself.
every day.
I said,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all day, every day.
Here we go.
I don't, I'm
Thank you so
registered.
much.
Yeah.
I need one. I am enough.
There you go. And you just have to put your name in there, both of you, your last name, and you take that over to admissions, both of you. Okay, let me look.
You make candles and everything.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at the academic calendar.
Well, thank you, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll see you next
So we have
Tuesday.
homework due Sunday night before midnight.
Right, correct.
All right.
Yep.
Talk
All right,
to you
let's
then.
see here.
Do I sign this too?
No,
I just-
just this here and that, and that's it. And then you walk it over. Let's see, last day to add, right, is what we're looking for. Yeah.
Is admissions open now, or does it close at a specific time?
Yeah, they usually,
Okay.
the first week, they're usually open till 6, but let me look here.
Isn't it too late?
Yeah, it's,
Probably.
you got the final. I'm almost positive it's Thursday. Let me see if it's in here though.
Yes.
Spring. All right, that's what must be signed by instructor, or yeah, we don't do that. I think Thursday's it. Thursday's it, so you should be all right.
Okay. I just don't wanna, I mean, there's a way to like waive that, right? If you're really cool with your teacher already, just in case it's not Thursday. This is, I'm coming from work in the morning straight to my class at Extension Center on Stamison Road, so I don't want to stop.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Well, the worst case is, or to make sure, you know, beyond all doubt, is I would call admissions in the morning.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Do that, yeah. That's what I would do,
Thank you.
just to confirm, because they do change stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to wait a day and be like, too late. So yeah, probably a good idea to call in. All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next
Thank you
week.
so much.
All right. See you next week. Yeah.